and welcome back. Today's lesson is going to be about intervals. You're going to learn how to identify melodic and harmonic intervals and how to write them as well. So I'm going to start by sharing crescendo again. And there we have our score. So to start with, I'm just going to use quarter notes here. To start with, a melodic interval are intervals that are played in succession. So an example of that would be going from the note C to the note D. So there you have a melodic, it's similar to what a melody would look like, interval in succession. Another one would be going from A to B, or we could go farther apart, but it's two notes that are played one or sung one after the other. Those are called melodic. Now, harmonic intervals are intervals that are played, or notes that are played, kind of like a block. They're built one on top of the other. So there is a harmonic interval, and move the same one up higher, a harmonic interval, and then again, the melodic one would look like that, one note after the other. Now, as for naming them, we need to count the spaces and lines beside each note. So for instance, going from a C to another C, that would be a unison. It's an interval of a one. They're right beside each other, and it's a melodic interval. If I went from a C to a D, that would be an interval of a second, because you count the first note of the interval and then the last note of the interval. So that's an interval of a second. An example of the interval of a third would be going from C to E. So C is counted as one. The missing note D would be 2 and E would be 3. So that's called a melodic interval of a third. So basically you can go up the entire scale with the intervals. I'm just going to move this over slightly. So we have a unison. We have an interval of a second, an interval of a third, an interval of a fourth, because from C to F is 4 spots, an interval of a fifth, and here's a sixth, a seventh, and finally we have an interval of an 8, which is going from one C up to the next C. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. We have an interval of an 8. So all of these are considered melodic intervals, and you may get an example of a song, a score given to you in your exam, and you'll have to go through that melody, and then you say, can you put brackets around any intervals of a fourth that you see? So you would look from one note to its next note, and count the first note you see and the last note you see, and everything in between, to discover where your intervals of fourths are. So they'll ask you to do that in score. They'll give you 2 notes, and they'll ask you to identify what the interval is and if it is melodic or harmonic. So the same notes, examples of a harmonic would be a double C, but this program isn't letting me do that. There's a harmonic second. And here's a harmonic third, harmonic fourth, harmonic fifth, harmonic sixth, 7, and a harmonic 8. So when the intervals and notes are stacked one on top of the other, again, it is called a harmonic interval. So you will be asked, you have to recognize all of these. In this level, you're not going to give them special names that you might have heard of, like perfect, fifth, major third, minor thirds. We're going to learn about those names in a later book. So I just want to stick to what you're going to be doing for the exam in the Celebrate Theory 1. And this is taken from your Unit 6. If you have any questions about the difference between harmonic or melodic intervals, please let me know. But this will take you all the way up to page 66. And on page 67, I'm not going to go through another lesson with that because that is music analysis. So please go back to my previous video on music analysis to remind yourself of what to do in that type of a question. Thanks very much for joining me. Bye-bye.